Are you fiddling with bottles again?
I'm just taking a drink. Fuck off. We
hell.
haven't even started yet.
I'm just taking a drink. I'll take a drink too. You ready? That was a good drink.
Today, we're doing ASMR with some flavored water, and it's gonna be sipping time.
Do you know what that sounds not like a sip? It sounds like those tubes that would go when you tip them upside down. Who made those tubes?
Someone who wanted parents to suffer. The person who made that tube is the same person that made that screaming chicken.
No, but the screaming chicken is fantastic.
It's not, mate. You go and work in Mankind near Christmas when every fucking kid that walks in that shop just goes, "Mom!" And it's like, oh my god, this is why kids should be put down. Change your mind.
It's safe to say that when Gareth gets the opportunity, he is going to strike off his balls. They're gone. They're dead to him.
I'm already thinking about it. I'm already saving.
Right. We should change your name on Rocket League to Eunuch.
Right?
Because that's a eunuch is someone who has their balls chopped off.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Lopped off. Sorry. Let's make it sound a bit more
That's
tasteful.
Grog's last name. Grog Eunuch.
Grog Eunuch. That'll be an unfortunate last name. Unless you're a woman, then it's just accurate. Well, no, it's not, because you didn't have balls that were chopped off. Welcome to the podcast, Gareth. I hope we're all doing well.
Thanks. Thank you. I'm glad to be welcomed.
Yeah.
What are we talking about, Joel?
We have a few things to talk about. Chiefly, we're going to start with ice cream or cake. I want to know what kind of dessert man you are.
Well, that's honestly actually a really easy question because I don't like cake.
Oh, come off it. Don't be all those people that's like, I'm so healthy.
It's not about being healthy. Cake is dry. It tastes like ass. Okay? Simple as that. Right? I am an ass man. I'm not going to lie. I'm an ass man, but I don't like cake.
You're an ass man, but you're not a rectum man. Right.
I'm an ass man, but I don't like the taste. All right? Simple as that.
So, I want to know what kind of cakes you're eating. If the cakes you're having are dry, taste like the back end of a horse. Do you know what I mean? Like, what kind of cakes are these?
Okay. When you say cake, the issue I think I have is when you say cake, the first thing that comes to mind is one of those shitty birthday cakes you got when you'd finished laser tag.
Yes.
After like 3 hours, and they're like, "Happy birthday to you," all of that, and then you get a slice. You take a bite, and the best thing about it is the icing that you peel off and eat by itself.
Or the only relief of moisture is that one thin bit of buttercream in the middle.
yeah. That's what comes to mind.
And it's shaped like an Xbox controller.
Yeah, or a fucking caterpillar. You ever had the caterpillar cake?
I have, but there's a caterpillar cake that comes from M&S, I think it is. And it's Colin the Caterpillar. And that's actually quite a good cake, as cakes go. But there are definitely knockoffs in places like Morrison's and Asda that, they're pretty dry. Especially they've been on the shelf for like 3 months.
Honestly, that's why I don't like cake. But then you have something like New York cheesecake, and oh my goodness gracious me, that beautiful. That's something else. I will vouch for that. New York cheesecake, or like, I don't know, strawberry drizzle cake, strawberry cheesecake, something like that. That's nice, but I would still pick ice cream, I think.
I guess we can include things like cheesecake because it's got that biscuity, cakey base.
It literally has cake in the name.
It does, but then a Jaffa cake has cake in the name too, and that's not really a cake.
Well, yeah, I mean, it could be classed as a cake. You never know.
Yeah. I don't know who classifies these things, but it's not us.
Yeah, but cheesecake is definitely a cake, because what else would it be?
A pie. It could be a pie.
Ooh, could be a pie. No, because pies are pies. Apple pie is not a cake.
But think
because it has
about
pie in the name.
it's like. But think about. Let's take a tart for example, right? A tart is open top. It has some kind of creamy-ish, lighter substance on top, and then it has a thin bit of base or pastry. So, technically, is a cheesecake not a sideless tart?
No, because it has cake in. Listen, we can go back and forth, but the fact that cheesecake has cake in the name, I think implies the fact that it's a cake.
It also has cheese in the name.
Yeah.
But I don't get cheese in a cheesecake. Do you get a caramel millionaire cheesecake?
Made with cheese.
It's not cheese.
Cheesecake is made with cream cheese, so it is actually made with cheese. That's why it's called cheesecake.
I don't know what cheese looks like in terms of when does it turn into cheese from cream. Right?
It's made with cream cheese. It's made with cheese.
It is a cheesecake.
It's a cheesecake, and because it's got cake in the name, Joel, it's a cake.
We're gonna call it a cake.
Right? It's a cake, right?
We got there.
So, if you're on the spectrum, which I know you are, of birthday cake,
I feel like that had a double meaning, but let's just carry on. It's fine.
of birthday cake that's dry as my granny's sandal, right? To the deluxe New York cheesecake that you get from Lidl, then where do you want to like generalize cake?
Now let's take the best of each camp. So let's take some of the best cakes that you've had and put them alongside some of the best ice creams that you've had, because there's a variation in everything. You know, you can go and get some of that. Do you know, like the ice cream in the tubs where the tubs are so thin that you can almost rip them?
Yeah.
Like you can get that sort of ice cream which just tastes like frozen, flavorless stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go to somewhere like Joe's Ice Cream in South Wales and have your mind blown by the most fresh vanilla ice cream that you've ever had.
God, you are talking straight facts and absolutes, my friend.
Do you know, I started out with Welsh ice creams in a little shop called Cadwallader's. And I found this shop in North Wales when we went on a yearly camping trip up to one of the towns in North Wales. And Cadwallader's was the best ice cream I'd had to date. It was fantastic. And then we moved down to South Wales, and that's when I was introduced to Joe's. And Joe's topped it again. And I still, to this day, haven't had an ice cream that's as good as Joe's ice cream, and I don't know why. Gwyn's, actually. Gwyn's in South Wales is pretty good.
Honestly, like, I can agree with you on that, because I completely forgot about Joe's until you've mentioned it. And my mind was also blown by Joe's ice cream. And, because I'd heard a lot of people talk about it in college while I was down there, and I was like, it's just ice cream. Chill out, alright? Not that special. And then on a day out, on one of the sunniest days in the Mumbles, which is like a nice area in Swansea by the beach, I was asked, do you want a Joe's ice cream? We're all going to go and get one. I was like, yeah, why not? It's a sunny day. Let's do it. I was like, what should I have? And they did a vanilla cone, like a Whippy, a Mr. Whippy, and dipped it in like crushed nuts.
Nice.
Did you ever have that?
I've had, so I usually get like the little sundaes from there because you get different layers, but I have had like the nuts, and there's the chocolate sprinkles and the millions. I've kind of had them all, to be fair.
God, the crushed nuts. My life was changed from then on. And then for the next 3 days, I had Joe's ice cream, like every day, because we kept going back to the beach. And that was the first thing I wanted to do, was get Joe's ice cream. But I want to pose a thought to you. This is why it's a hard comparison between ice cream and cake, because if we take into consideration of like New York cheesecake and stuff, cake has so much diversity and range of what you can do and how you can make cake. Like I made a molten caramel cake.
Ooh.
Oh my God, that was amazing. I watched, I can't remember, it was like a baking YouTube channel with Claire, something. It's on YouTube, very, very popular. Bon Appetit. It was a Bon Appetit, and one of the guys made a molten caramel cake, and I just copied the recipe point for point, and it turned out perfectly to a point of I took it out the ceramic container and dipped my spoon to crack it open, and inside was this molten caramel.
Ooh.
Right? And it was gorgeous. And you do it with it's basically like a caramel version of a molten chocolate cake. Now, we can also go into molten chocolate cakes of how diverse that can be.
It's not an anthology of cakes.
Wait, listen, I love bakery. Okay, I love baking. So you're talking my language here. This is the issue I have though. It's because I don't eat a lot of cakes, but I love making them. I love the diversity of cakes. However, ice cream is kind of just ice cream but different flavors, right? And different toppings.
I guess that is a good point.
Unless you're talking about like, I guess, would you class an ice cream sundae or a banana split?
I think we have to.
An ice cream dish?
I think we have to.
Or sorbet? Could you class sorbet as ice cream?
I think you would, because if we're talking about like molten cakes and cheesecakes, I mean, you know, in all things, cheesecake, in terms of cake, it's pretty loose, isn't it? Like, it's got a bit of cake at the bottom.
Yeah.
And the rest is all just other stuff. So
cheesecake this is just going to be an argument about whether cheesecake is cake. It's cake.
It is cake
because the way you make the topping for cheesecake upon the biscuit base is the cake batter. Anyway, before you get me all vexed up once more,
I'm just crumbled biscuits. Anyway, all I'm saying is that cake or ice cream. I'll tell you where I lie. Cake, 100%. I like ice cream, don't get me wrong, but especially for someone who has sensitive teeth, I cannot handle ice cream. There would be multiple times in one ice cream sitting that my face screws up, like, as they say in Yorkshire, a bulldog licking piss off a nettle. Because my teeth are so sensitive. So for that reason, I'm like, cake all the way.
Yeah, but you can't eat cake because it's gluten.
Well, you can get gluten-free cake.
Yeah, but that's not cake, is it?
It is cake. It's still made with a form of flour.
No.
It's just not flour from wheat.
If you're arguing against me that cheesecake isn't cake, your gluten crap is not cake.
It's got more cake in it than a cheesecake.
No, it doesn't. Oh.
You can make a cheesecake literally with crumbled biscuits. Now that's not cake.
That's not. Joel, that's literally not even part of the cheese. Anyway, I'm getting so annoyed.
So which side are you?
Woo. Well, I'm kind of stuck now because you've talked about including sorbet, right? I want to introduce another thing: mochi balls. Okay.
Ooh, where do they lie? That's a good point.
They are ice cream because it's just an ice cream with a rice layer. So it's chewy ice cream. Right?
It's chewy ice cream.
It's chewy
it's a way
ice cream.
To sell it.
Now, if you wanna think about the bad side about ice cream with like the brain freezes and the sensitive teeth, then I want to pose the bad side of cake to you.
Mm-hmm.
If a cake is made too sweet, you get that really like sharp kind of like gritting sensation in the back of your jaw. You ever had that? You have something really sweet and it like hits in between where your jaw and your ears meet.
I get that with things that are sour more than I do with sweet.
Really?
Yeah. If something's a bit sour, then like if I have a sour, like one of the sour sweets you can get that are like the little toxic balls or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Those can really get me, and sometimes it happens before I even eat it, and I'm like, I haven't even eaten anything yet.
Just telepathically just like fucking you over.
My body's just anticipating this horrendous pain, so it just gives it to me anyway.
Don't do it. Imagine if that happened to you in ice cream. Your teeth just start like screaming.
Yeah, I look at an ice cream stool and just fall to the ground in agony. It's like, what's wrong with him?
My teeth.
My enamel. It's cold.
I genuinely, now that we've posed so many different options on both sides of the argument, I still think I'm going to stick with ice cream, because if you gave me a dessert menu of half of it was cake, half of it was ice cream, I'd probably still pick the ice cream desserts.
Oh, really?
Because I grew up with ice cream over cake, purely because the cake that I had when I was young. Because you know, like the little fairy cakes as well, the little cupcakes.
Oh, those are... Yeah, but I feel like they don't put any effort into those because they have the frosting in the middle.
But that's unfortunately what I had as a kid for cake, and it ruined me, I think, when I grew up, right? So I would have ice cream on a dessert instead. And what I would do as a kid was I'd used to like get my bowl. This might sound really weird now. And I still do it today. I'd get my bowl of vanilla ice cream as a kid, and I'd like whisk it in the bowl.
Yes.
Right? To make it kind of like a liquid, and then I'd drink it instead of eating.
Okay, no, that's... I wasn't expecting that bit. That bit's a bit weird.
Where did you think I was going with it?
So I used to...
whisk an ice cream.
What I used to do is get ice cream, and I'd sprinkle some, like, either cereal or sprinkle some biscuits on it, and then I'd whisk it so that it became a bit more like a Mr. Whippy. It was a little bit softer in texture. Still, stiff peaks, but a little bit softer in texture. So I could then still spoon it in, but it wouldn't be, like, properly frozen. It would be a little bit soft.
Yeah, well, I guess when I say drink it would still be ice cream. Like, it wouldn't be a liquid, but it'd be like a thick soup of ice cream instead of like...
Got you.
It'd be weird. I can't really explain. I'd have to show you.
You will. You will have to show me.
Instead. But, like, that's what I'd do as a kid. And I would still... I think I'm on the side of ice cream, because I would still pick ice cream over cake nowadays. Because I love sorbet. I would always pick sorbet. Like, if there was a mango and passion fruit sorbet on the dessert menu, I'm going for that straight away.
Yeah, I don't know which is healthier, but I definitely know that if you're having the ice cream, I'm having the cake.
But what cake would you have? If you could pick any cake in the world, what cake?
If I could pick any cake in the world, do you know what it would be? In fact, try and guess. What is my favorite cake? And it is very much like by quite a long margin, I have a favorite cake.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, you didn't think cheesecake's a cake, so that eliminates that.
How well do you know your friends?
Oh, it's actually a tricky one. Maybe something... I don't know how much you like chocolate. You like chocolate?
I like all things sweet, to be fair.
I feel like it would be like a chocolate cake.
It's wrong, but I'll give you one more guess.
Yeah, if it's not a chocolate cake, what would it be? What would it be? Something to do with like apple?
You got to name a cake.
Fruity?
Name me a cake.
Strawberry something.
No.
Strawberry daiquiri.
Strawberry daiquiri. Just alcohol. Just give me alcohol. Make me forget.
I don't know.
It's a carrot cake.
You're dead to me. You're actually dead. Out of all the fucking delicacies... Shut up. 1 sec. Out of all the delicacies in the world, cheesecake, molten chocolate cake, brownie fudge cake, I could go on forever, right? And you're picking carrot cake.
With the best frosting. It's the reason why is because, and this is also why I love like banana bread type stuff, is that it brings such a moisture to it that it's never dry. When made correctly, it's never dry. It's just so sweet. The frosting on top is so vanilla-y and icing-y, and then the cake is just like, it's dense, but it's still got some lightness to, oh man. I could have carrot cake all day. I wouldn't necessarily have the walnuts in it, or have the pecans, whatever you put in there. I wouldn't necessarily have the nuts in it, so I'd probably just have the pure cake, but big fan of carrot cake.
Honestly, starting this podcast with you, Joel, has driven me further and further away from our friendship since we started.
Biggest mistake of your life to date.
You listen to horror podcasts to fall asleep to. You drink sparkling water. You don't cuddle at the cinema. And now your favorite cake is carrot cake.
Yeah, what can I say? I have a mature taste.
Are you actually a fucking psycho?
No, but my home planet is quite far away.
Nice. Good one. I can't... Carrot cake? I'm actually dumbfounded. I can't believe that's your favorite cake out of every cake in the world. Carrot cake.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. So I'm on the side of ice cream. I've made my decision. But if you introduce pies to the mixture, right? I will always, I think, always, I think, pick an apple and cinnamon crumble over anything.
Yep. Yeah. Do you know what? Apple and cinnamon crumble, actually from McDonald's even, it's not bad. It's a good one.
Ooh. Yeah, you know, the little one in the packet?
You've just got to wait for it to cool down.
Especially when it's like piping hot. Ooh. No, when it's piping hot and you want to burn your tongue. God damn.
Yeah, I've done it so many times where you leave it in the packet and it's deceivingly efficient at holding heat. So you leave it in the packet for 10 minutes and you're like, it must be cold by now. You bite into it and just, you're on fire.
Yeah, literally.
It's a bit like coffees. If you leave the lid on a coffee or a hot chocolate and then it is game over. It's horrendous.
Game over. And then you have to deal with a burnt tongue for like a week, which is like one of the most annoying things in the world. You can't talk properly. And it's always painful. You can't eat anything spicy because you're fucked. Right? That's it. But you know what's really good for a burnt tongue? Ice cream. And this is why I want to move on to my point of ice cream. Fucking segue master. That's what they called me in high school. So if I was to pick one ice cream in the world, I think it would have to be anything that's like mango and passion fruit flavored, right? But if I was to pick like a binge ice cream, this is a good thing about ice cream. You can just pick it out the fridge and just binge on it. Whereas you can't really get a cake and binge on a cake. I don't feel like you're telling me that you're doing a 9-hour marathon on Netflix with a cake in your hand instead of a Ben and Jerry's cookie dough ice cream.
I'm not gonna lie, there has been times. I'm not proud of them, granted. But there have been times. Dark times.
Of cake?
Go to like Lidl and pick up one of their deluxe carrot cakes and just go to town.
My God.
All you need is a knife or like a cutting utensil, and the rest is just what God gave you.
No. Yeah, well, okay. With all the normal people, they'd probably pick like cookie dough Ben and Jerry's ice cream. But there's some ice cream flavors I haven't tried as well. Like a lot of people rave about pistachio ice cream. I really want to try pistachio.
Do you want to say that again?
Ice cream. Because
pistachio
ice cream.
It's good. It's good flavor, that.
I'll slap you in the face, carrot boy.
Carrot boy. But I tell you what, though, as well, rum and raisin apparently is supposed to be really nice too.
What, the ice cream flavor?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Never had it.
That's what there is so many ice cream flavors that you could try, but the thing is, it's still ice cream at the end of the day. So I'm still on the side of ice cream. I would pick like mango and passion fruit, anything, sorbet, ice cream, or mochi balls, and I'd be happy. And I think if there was all of those on the list, I'd have to pick the mochi balls because there's something so you'd hate mochi balls.
I love mochi. I completely agree. I love mochi, and I've had it before. It's just painful. It's a painful experience.
Yeah, because it's literally like chewing ice cream.
Yeah, you are. And there's nowhere to hide from it. Like you can't like put it to the back of your mouth, and no, it's just teeth all around.
You have to use your teeth and you're chewing ice cream, but that's why I love it. Because like I love chewy sweets, so it's just the best of both worlds. It's like an ice cream chewy sweet. It's great. And I'd definitely pick that over a fucking carrot cake. You psycho.
Well, there we are. Psychopath carrot cake. Insensitive teeth, Gareth.
I hate you. Okay, let's see how much we can get out of sex scenes. There's the start.
How much can you get out of a sex scene, Gareth?
Sex scene.
So to rephrase this for anyone who's listening, Gareth, I want to ask you: are sex scenes in films, TV shows, even books, are they necessary?
No. Is my honest answer. No, they're not. But I also want to kind of like draw back to what you just said. How do you have a sex scene in a book?
50 Shades? Come on.
Okay, yeah. Isn't that just like erotic writing? Is that classed as a sex scene?
I guess it would be. It's like a sex chapter, maybe. I don't know what you'd call it.
A sex book.
A few erotic pages.
It's literally just porn on a page.
Porn
That's
page.
What 50
page
Shades.
Porn.
Page porn. It's the title of this one. Page porn. But no, I honestly don't think. When you say are they necessary, yes and no, but like, do you need to see it? No. Can it be implied? Yes.
Would you like to see it? No.
Would you like to see it? Sometimes no, sometimes yes. One instance where I didn't want to see it, and it's always awkward, and you can vouch for this and probably everyone else, is when you're watching something with your parents and a sex scene comes on. Now, embarrassing times for me. I can't remember how old I was, but I walked into the living room. My mum and dad are watching Game of Thrones. Daenerys is getting her ass clapped by fucking Drogo.
Khal Drogo.
And I'm like, what are you watching? Because I didn't know, at this point, I'd never seen Game of Thrones. I didn't know what they were watching. It literally just looked like a medieval porno.
So when you mentioned this, I did think there is probably one scene in Game of Thrones that is worse to walk in on your parents viewing at the time. Do you know what it is?
No. Which one?
So it's the scene. It's not the scene between those two. It's the scene between Jaime and Cersei Lannister when they're getting it on, because that's a creepy scene to watch with your parents.
Is that where he pushes the kid out the window?
Yes, it's because he sees his brother and sister knobbing it off, and then he's like, do you know what? I'm going to make you lame.
I don't think any of those scenes, regardless, though, are good scenes to walk in on your mum and dad watching.
To be fair, the words "walk in on your mum and dad," I just stay away from that anyway. I don't want to know.
That's what happened, and it was just weird, and it was that awkward. Like, oh, you watch? Okay, Game of Thrones, cool. That's okay, and you just shut the door, and you don't walk in for another 2 hours just to make sure.
Yeah, no, you wait for them to emerge. You wait for them to come out.
Yeah, all hot and sweaty and bothered.
Where did that phrase come from? And bothered. I'm very bothered.
Hot and bothered.
Hot and bothered. I wonder what's
very
hot and
bothered. I'm hot and bothered.
And sweaty. I think that when it comes to sex scenes, there are certain stories in which it's important, and I do think that certain sex scenes can have gravitas. So, because I know what you're saying about implied, and sometimes a sex scene that is implied can be very effective, but sometimes I feel it is more effective when they show a bit more. However, there is a limit to that. And when it comes to just showing genitalia or just showing it to the point where it's literally one step away from, it's one step away from those incognito internet sites. You know, it does get to it where you start thinking, do I need to see it? I got the picture. I get the picture. They're having sex. You know.
What would be the worst one that you've seen, would you say, that just wasn't needed? It was one of them ones where you watching the film, it kind of just clips over to it and you're like, whoa. Why?
I'm trying to think.
Need to see that.
Which one? Probably the Jaime and Cersei Lannister one, to be fair. I know it gets the point across and it sets the context for the time perfectly. And to be fair, it does set up quite the theme of what that show is going to be for the next 7 and a bit seasons. But it was definitely one of those scenes where I was like, I don't necessarily need to see such a prolonged version of this type of pummeling. Yeah. It's not something I came here for. It's not what I signed up for. And it certainly is now going to be the takeaway that I didn't ask for.
They could have also done like a camera angle where you don't see anything, but it's like you know what's happening. Do you know what I mean?
True, but
you kind of just see everything.
I think you've got to be careful though, not to make it comic or comical, because it can get quite funny quite quickly. And
just turn Game of Thrones into Austin Powers. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
That's another film I've never seen any of them.
What?
It's insane.
Oh my god, man! I just don't like you anymore.
You need to show me. Listen, I didn't have a movication before I was mid-teen.
You're just not quite evil enough, Joel. You're just not quite evil. You're like the Diet Coke of evil. not quite enough. You won't even get that reference, and it's a shame. Okay, you won't even get the reference, and I hate it.
I prefer Diet Coke. There you go.
No, enough. So, I got another question for you though.
Okay.
Is there a film or a TV show where you kind of wish there was a sex scene?
Have you ever seen Marvel?
Scarlett Scarlet Witch would be really interesting.
No, do you know what? There have been certain times, and I think I feel the similar way to sex scenes as I do to gore. So Marvel, for example, is fantastic with gore because they've for the majority of their films and TV shows, they've stayed way away from it. You know, it's like someone will get shot out of the sky, land on a building, fall 30 stories, land on their back, and they're just fine. They've got a bit of dust on them, maybe, and like a slight cut next to the eye.
Besides Doctor Who. Not Doctor Who.
I was going to say, I was like, wait, Marvel?
Not Doctor Who, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, besides the latest Doctor Strange, where it's just horror.
Where his head implodes.
That's fantastic. I thought that was great.
It was good.
But so it's a bit like that, where sometimes if if people just kind of start a little bit of kissing or something and then it instantly cuts away, it's a bit like, okay, give me some more.
Give it a bit more.
Give me some
just
more.
A little
Turn
bit.
that dial up to 3.
Yeah.
I am here. I am human. I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see
some action.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
But then also at the same time, there are certain things where it gets a bit too far. And I think for me, it's also the prolonged shots. So that's what makes it weird. Where you've got certain films they'll have a very quick sex montage, a sextage, if you will.
Yeah.
And you'll see, some like grabbing, nails down the back. You'll see all those sorts of things. And then it's over. It's like 6 or 7, 10 seconds. And you think, okay, I got the picture there. It gave a little bit of steaminess, but it wasn't too much.
Yeah.
It's when you then have a prolonged like 10, 15, 20-second shot of someone just getting railed. You're like, oh, okay. I don't know how to feel about this now.
Have you ever seen like Mr. and Mrs. Smith as well?
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, fuck off, man. I swear. I might have a lisp and you're taking the piss out of it.
You don't
How about
know.
that? How about that? Maybe I do.
Anyway,
Have you ever seen Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
I haven't.
Oh my god. There's a scene in Mr. and Mrs. Smith with obviously Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. This was when they were dating as well, where they are literally like kissing, making out, grabbing each other, basically doing the whole shebang without fucking, but like undressing each other throughout the house whilst they're also kind of like getting gunned up. So they're about to fuck pretty much, and then a whole army of police, special forces, whatever, outside are coming in to try and kill them, right? And so they're half naked, also trying to defend themselves whilst making love. And that lasts for like 5 minutes, and you're like, all right, I get it. It's prime Brad Pitt, it's prime Angelina Jolie, awesome, sexy. But after 3 minutes, maybe call it quits, maybe move on.
Yeah,
Maybe that's just me.
I don't know, because I want to watch that because I can imagine it again, almost being quite comical at the same time. Like there's a sense of just ridiculousness, and I think that's where you can get away with having a longer scene. It's just when it's deadly serious, and it's a little bit like catching eye contact with someone who is doing a task really intensely. It's just a bit like, oh gosh, well, what do we do now? That feeling of uncomfortableness and like, I just don't want to be here. And I think sometimes when you get a bit too much camera time in a very serious scene, that's when it triggers. But I want to see that because I can imagine, for some reason in my head, do you know The Kingsman, the first film?
Yeah.
Do you know that scene in the church?
Yes.
For some reason, I imagine it to be like that, which I think that's a fantastic scene.
It does have that kind of vibe. If only the people in the church were like fucking.
Now that would have been a scene.
That would have been a great scene. There is. Do you want to know what film that popped into my head when I asked you the question of like, imagine if there was sex scenes?
Okay, go on.
Harry Potter.
Oh no!
Magical foreplay would be great.
No,
okay? Not when they're kids, you freak. When the last one.
I haven't seen the last one.
When they're adults. They're adults at that point. Okay, and maybe I'm not thinking about the students. I'm thinking about good old Snape. Get Snape and Dumbledore in there. The paintings on the wall.
That massive dog from downstairs.
Yeah.
Three-headed beast.
Get them all in there. Fucking Voldemort with put them in there.
Yeah.
Give me that magical foreplay.
Leviosa. Oh.
Give it a living. I love it. That's what I'd want from a sex scene. Not
Automaticus
Jamie.
Bigicus.
Yeah. I think they could do it, and then you could make it as long as you want. I'd still watch
it. Okay. No, I could. I would want to see that. Probably a parody of it, but I'd certainly want to see it nonetheless. I'm trying to think of a time where I have seen or read a sex scene that is just too much. One thing that does come to mind is the film Nymphomaniacs. Have you ever heard of that?
I think I've seen that.
Shia LaBeouf, and a few other people in the cast that I cannot remember, but it's a film all about sex, basically, and it's real sex in the film, and it's very definitely shown as real sex in the film, and it's something which, again, I haven't seen the full film, so I need to go and actually watch it, but I do wonder if it's part of the story or if it could just be removed and still tell the same story. Then again, it is called Nymphomaniacs, so yeah, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Sex scenes, they can tell a story, but if you dwell on them too long, it's like awkward eye contact, and I just need to look away.
It's like awkward eye contact with a guy that doesn't stop looking away. That's what it is. Yeah. You're trying to like look anywhere but him, but he's just glaring and burning the side of your face, so you have to look at them. And you're like, yeah, okay, I get it. You're having sex. Move on.
Yeah, it's nice for some. Gosh.
Yeah. You say that, I don't get any. Fuck you.
I'm trying to empathize here. Come on. I'm being nice. Do you know what I mean?
Alright, carrot boy. Whatever you say.
Oh, go home with your crushed up biscuit cheesecakes.
Shove a fucking carrot up your ass. Record it.
Record it. That's a scene.
Love you, carrot.